Welcome to American Dealmaker. After the episode, it's your turn.
Welcome to the American Dealmaker podcast, where big ideas that push the envelope come to pitch to you, the dealmakers. Startup founders in San Francisco come to shake things up. I'm usually your dealmaker and host, Constant, but today we are doing Applause, my startup, as the startup entering the deal room. We've got two guests on today's podcast, Kelvin and Xavier. Xavier is a VC scout at Montfort Ventures, and Kelvin is the CEO and founder of MindHelpa. I'm excited to introduce you guys to these guests and go in the deal room myself today with Applause. Today's episode is made possible by WeFunder. After today's episode, head on over to Twitter and vote on if you think the startup is a big break or a big mistake. Let's go to the deal room. Thank you guys for joining American Dealmaker being our first guest dealmakers.
Awesome, thank you.
I know we're based in San Francisco. It's been a super hectic day. I'm going to introduce you guys because the problem is that the dealmakers, the audience, doesn't know everything about you guys yet. So I'll start with you, Kelvin. You are the CEO and founder of MindHelpa.
Yeah.
You guys just did your demo day, which is really exciting. So tell the audience about your business so they can understand the perspective you're coming from, because you're a second-time founder.
Yes. So I'm Kelvin Alanime. I'm the co-founder and CEO of MindHelpa. By background, I'm a doctor. I've been a doctor for 13 years. The past 4 years I've been in psychiatry, and at MindHelpa we're building online group therapy service. And the aim is to make therapy affordable and to, enable the therapists to see much more people than they usually see. So with the group, it's very affordable for people, and therapy can cost as low as $50 per session instead of $300.
I think that's so amazing. I love your dedication to mental health, and making it more affordable is something that is so needed.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about what you guys are doing, and I know that you got a lot of entrepreneurship experience, so it's great to have you today here on the podcast as a guest dealmaker.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's also talk about you, Xavier. So you are a venture scout at Montfort Ventures. You're really heavily involved in the VC space.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about you and what you bring here today as a dealmaker is super impactful. So
For sure. I'll give a little bit of background at first. So Xavier, thanks for having me today. Originally from North Carolina, moved out to San Francisco originally to work at Visa. So I was working in fintech, I was working in payments, more in the business side, non-technical roles. And towards the end of that, I was interning at a firm called Harlem Capital, which is an early stage venture fund focused on diverse founders, primarily investing in women and people of color. Early stage, all industry agnostic stuff, saw consumer stuff, but mostly enterprise and vertical SaaS and all that sort of fun stuff. Ultimately, decided to leave Visa, and towards the end of my Harlem Capital internship, I started working at the firm I'm at now, Montfort Ventures. It's not in the name, but it's actually a startup fundraising advisory firm, so not a VC firm in itself. So we help strategize fundraising rounds end to end for our clients, and bring them in and curate warm connections for them so that they can be as investable as possible and increase the surface area of their success to get them into and sort of help them finish their round. So I do that, but I'm also a VC scout for Level Up Ventures, which is the investing side, and I just sort of a conduit for deal flow, helping them add deals top of funnel and make diligence decisions themselves. So I'm doing both the consulting side with fundraising, but also the investing side. Yep.
Amazing. I love that. You're so interconnected in the VC space, whereas I feel like you also maintain a focus, which is awesome.
For sure.
I love that you are able to keep that value impact in your work.
100%.
And this is extremely exciting because this is our first time having two guest dealmakers, not one, but two guest dealmakers in the deal room.
Yeah.
So this is really the point here, is to be able to share some perspectives that are not only early stage but later stage founders and VCs, giving people a new look into delving into a business and investigating.
Yeah.
For sure.
I know that you guys are actually here for me to pitch.
Yeah.
So you could throw me into the deal room if you guys want.
Cool. So yeah, would love to hear, obviously, you pitch. Would want to give us like a 5-minute max background overview of, what Applause is.
Totally. Applause is a social media app focused on notes. It's for to-do lists, checklists, movie list recommendations. Your Santa's wish list could go on there. It's really for stream of consciousness notes. And when we first spoke about it, you mentioned shower thoughts.
Right.
That's really our core concept. Is it's for works in progress and drafts. So on Applause, any user can sign up and be able to share their notes throughout the day, edit them throughout the day. If they share a checklist, they can check something off, and other people can see that they've checked it off. It's really a tool for not only collaboration and feedback, but also getting some accountability on things that you're doing throughout the day, hence the name Applause.
Right.
And you guys totally get it, and I love that.
Awesome. So, very quick question. We know there are a lot of social media apps out there. Why do you think we need another one?
I love that question, and I think that there are a lot of social media apps out there. My goal with Applause is not simply creating a new platform for writing and writing content, it's also creating a community where people can feel safe sharing their creative expression and getting their voice out there. It's something that I had growing up when I was a writer. I had a community where I could share my work, and it would have been something that I wrote that day. It wouldn't be a finished piece, and get feedback and feel that community, get inspired by other writers. With Applause, I want to make it a community where it may not be highly curated or highly produced like a lot of the content on other social platforms is expected to be, and I think that that's something that creatives still need today and can benefit from. Being someone who's a creator myself, and I know that you do a lot of creative things outside of work, and you as well as a startup founder are constantly coming up with ideas. Personally, me, I want to know what you guys are thinking on a daily basis, and I want to be able to see that content too from friends and people in the industry that I get a chance to know. Even personal close friends, you don't always know what they're really thinking and writing in their note-taking apps. It's also something where I'm so curious what that content is too, and I want to be able to see it.
Right. And then another question I have when thinking about, more of the competitive landscape, I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later as well, but it's not just social media apps. It's also what I think is anything that grabs your attention. Any consumer app, they're all fighting for attention.
Yeah.
TikTok, their competitors is not just Instagram, it's also ESPN because I'm watching sports.
Yeah.
It's anything that gets you off of their platform onto another platform. So when thinking about the things that drive attention away from your platform into other platforms, how do you combat that? Because all these apps are looking to grab your attention, looking to drive eyes and eyeballs onto their platform, and it's putting us in a lot of different directions. But how do you make sure people stay on your app and keep coming back?
Yeah, totally. And I'm inspired by all those other apps. For me personally, I see it as a new place that maybe time is being spent elsewhere on personal writing apps. On the Notes app, a lot of people that I speak to constantly are writing in the iPhone Notes app or writing in Notion or using Evernote on a daily basis. There is time being spent in writing, and it's mostly done on a personal, or if it's shared, only with close friends or only with my business colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there is an opportunity to be more social and find community in that space that other apps haven't tapped into. So Notion and Evernote, they don't provide an opportunity to become an influencer and share your thoughts, get feedback, people commenting on what they're...
It's one-dimensional.
Exactly.
You're not socializing.
Exactly. In addition to that, I think what makes TikTok's so great is the algorithm. It's not so much that it's the only place that you could find ESPN sports clips. It's that it knows exactly what team you like, it knows exactly what sports you're watching, and it can give you that in a very succinct manner. And that's why people spend so much time there. That's what I'm inspired to build for our Notes app, is an algorithm that learns your interests extremely well and can then recommend you notes that fit what you actually want to gain from checking into the app.
Right. Okay, lovely. Brings me to my next question. It's good you've mentioned the fact that you come from the background of writing and you also want to know what other people are writing. Okay, so it's one thing you're wanting to know what other people are writing. It's also another thing for people to want to show you. So that brings me to my question about how have you validated this? Are there people willing to pay for this? Is this something people are willing to do? Because you mentioned Notion and some of these companies and think it's a blind spot. Are they avoiding this for a reason? Have they tried and failed? So
Yeah.
how have you validated this market?
It has mostly been through user research and conversations. So speaking to people and asking them, would you actually share your morning routine here? Would you actually share some of those iPhone notes that you've got hidden in that treasure trove? And what I find a lot of people saying is, yes, when you start to think about, okay, I can share this with anyone. It's my friends on the app, being able to share your favorite restaurants. Now I don't have to send this list to all my friends. I can share it on my profile and anyone can see the list I've curated. Building community on this app is another reason why people might go on if they see that, oh, this sewing influencer that I love is sharing their sewing designs here and getting feedback there. I want to be a part of that community with them.
Nice. I want to transition a little bit to maybe the current situation at Applause right now. Tell me a little bit more about your traction.
Absolutely. So our traction is just getting started.
Nice.
Because we have just launched our MVP into
Yeah.
the market. Yay!
Yeah.
You know what? This
And
is a big
applause.
moment. I need us to do some confetti right now.
Ah, nice.
Okay.
It's the alley-oop. Yeah, I think that for me, after our initial conversation, I think that something that really clicked is that like it's interacting all within like this realm of positivity that Applause sort of breeds and is trying to curate. I think that's really powerful, and there's not really a place for that.
Now we're going to address the elephant in the room. How does Applause make money?
Applause, we are actually very specific in how we want to build the business model. Right now, our business model is through advertising. We want to be able to feature brands through their own personalized notebooks that can include a checklist of, let's say, Tide wants to sponsor a notebook on a great Sunday chores routine that includes laundry. And so that's one way that we want to allow brands to take part in our app. But we do want to continue to use what a lot of other social media apps have used for their revenue model, which is in-feed advertising. It allows consumers to discover a new brand, and it also keeps the app free. Our plan is to always be a free app.
Okay.
Nice.
Let's talk about your financials from your model.
With social media apps, it's typically that we don't see profitability early on. It's going to be a long journey before we're able to become profitable through advertising. It's going to take a lot of user traction, a lot of customer growth. We're really going to have to see our app become widely used before we see that traction as far as our business model. But once we do, we're looking to make an in-house ad network so that businesses that do want to advertise with us can market their businesses directly through our platform, giving them the opportunity to fit into our interface, whether it's through customized notebooks or customized checklists, as well as more traditional advertising with photo and video. So that's our long-term plan.
We're gonna cut you a break off this Kit Kat for you. Very
Yeah.
dramatic. Y'all heard the
Thank
break.
you.
Yeah.
We got the break. We got the Kit Kat. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for joining the podcast. I really appreciate it. It's something that I'm grateful to share with you is the local San Francisco community surrounding startups and tech and VC, and I look forward to continuing into the part of your world, but I appreciate you taking the time to come on today and share as guest deal makers. I think anyone watching has learned a lot on things that you should be asking a business and what someone from the VC space actually wants to know for their business. I think there's so much that other people can learn from listening to you guys being here as guest deal makers, and I am so happy you were able to make it.
Yeah.
I know that I was the one in the hot seat today, but I hope that this wasn't too bad of an experience for you guys asking the questions.
It was great.
Cool.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, and after the show, head over to Twitter and you guys can vote. Is applause a big break or a big mistake?